Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You reach for your phone, open your banking app, and for a moment, everything looks normal. Your balance shows up, your transactions are there. But when you try to buy something, an error message appears. You try again, same thing. Then you turn on the news. Every country on earth is reporting the same catastrophic event. Money everywhere has stopped working. Cash, credit, cryptocurrencies, gold, nothing has value anymore. No one knows why or how it happened. Some say it's a massive others think it's divine punishment or a global AI malfunction. But one truth becomes clear within hours. Human civilization, built on the belief in money, is suddenly standing on nothing. You try to call your bank. No one answers. People outside start shouting, arguing. Shops close their doors. Within a few hours, panic begins to spread. What you have in your wallet, in your account, in your investments, is now meaningless. A lifetime of savings gone in a single morning. At first, people are confused. Everyone assumes it's temporary, that it will be fixed. But as hours go by, nothing changes. No transactions, no payments, no refunds. Companies shut their systems off. Supermarkets close. Gas stations are surrounded by desperate crowds. And then the realization sets in. Money has officially died. People begin taking what they can. Store shelves empty out in hours. Hospitals start rationing medicine. Delivery trucks stop moving. Without payment systems, logistics collapse almost immediately. Within one day, global trade freezes. No country can import or export anything anymore. Airplanes stop flying. Ports become idle. Power plants start to fail because fuel shipments can't continue. And by nightfall, most major cities run out of food supplies. Governments try to react. Emergency broadcasts fill televisions and radios, promising that order will be restored. But it's an empty promise. By the second day, violence spreads. Banks are attacked. Armored vans are burned on the streets. Police forces start to fracture. Many officers abandoning their posts to protect their families. Soon, even soldiers are refusing orders. The government's most powerful weapon is gone: money. By the end of the first week, the world has changed beyond recognition. Cities become dangerous, almost uninhabitable. People flee to rural areas in search of stability, food, and safety. The concept of work collapses. Without salaries, no one reports for duty. Teachers, truck drivers, medical personnel. Everyone is forced into survival mode. The lights go out in millions of homes as the power grid fails. And in the darkest corners of the internet, a single phrase begins to trend worldwide. The age of money has ended. But even as the old world falls apart, something begins to emerge. In small towns and villages, people start organizing, trading, and cooperating. With money gone, humans return to something ancient: barter. A farmer swaps vegetables for tools. A mechanic trades repairs for medicine. A doctor offers treatment in exchange for food or safety. People begin to remember how to live through direct exchange. At first, it's chaotic. No one knows what anything is worth anymore. Is a bag of rice equal to a pair of shoes? How do you measure fairness when there's no common currency? Yet, slowly, a new sense of value takes form. Knowledge becomes priceless. Skills become tradable. Trust becomes the new currency. The people who can grow food, fix machines, or produce energy rise to leadership positions. The world starts to stabilize, not globally, but locally. Communities begin to thrive, through cooperation. Insomni. Plus technology helps. Automated systems, solar-powered farms, and AI factories continue running, producing food and energy for small populations. These automated centers become islands of stability in the chaos, where people and machines coexist to rebuild. In other regions, survival is purely human. Without access to technology or power, society goes backwards. People rely on farming, crafts, and manual labor to survive. Months pass, global communication almost disappears. The internet becomes fragmented, reserved for communities that can power local servers. The old idea of nations and borders starts to dissolve. People no longer identify by nationality, but by the community they belong to. Towns, even isolated villages, become the new world's strongest units of stability. Humanity slowly begins to adapt. Governments, as we knew them, vanish completely. Their power was built on taxes and monetary control. Now, both gone. In the absence of centralized systems, new forms of order emerge. Some communities are led by councils, others by individuals with charisma or authority. In unfortunate places, warlords rise, hoarding food and resources, enforcing control through fear. But elsewhere, new models of fairness appear, democratic systems built on cooperation, knowledge, and sustainability. Slowly, people develop new forms of value. Some communities invent tokens that represent hours of work or units of energy. A few regions even use electricity itself as a currency, a literal measure of energy to trade with others. Others live purely through barter networks, trusting reputation instead of numbers. The world begins to rebuild cooperation without the illusion of constant growth. 5 years after the collapse, a new civilization takes shape. It's smaller, slower, and more balanced. People no longer chase wealth. They chase survival, but also connection, purpose, and peace. Towns surrounded by renewable energy sources become the new capitals of a decentralized planet. Former global corporations are gone. Social media is history. The new world runs on cooperation and necessity. Children born after the fall grow up with no concept of salary or price. They learn early that work is about contribution, not compensation. Communities educate them to understand the balance between production, consumption, and sustainability. They understand that food, energy, and clean water are the true treasures of the modern age. The rest, luxury, profit, ownership, belongs to the old world. In this new era, people are measured not by their possessions, but by their usefulness, creativity, and kindness. The blacksmith is as important as the engineer, the farmer as respected as the scientist. Humanity, once divided by wealth, begins to find equality through necessity. Of course, not everywhere is peaceful. There are conflicts, raids, and power struggles. But over Jimmy, even these phases survival depends on cooperation, not domination. And from ashes, humanity learns to build a society that values life itself over any artificial measure of worth. When historians of the future, if any survive, look back, they might call it the Great Reset, or perhaps the fall of money. It was the greatest collapse in human history, but also the beginning of a new philosophy, that value must be real, tangible, and shared. If money lost all its value overnight, it would destroy everything we know. But perhaps, in the long run, it would also force us to remember why we created it in the first place. Money was a tool, a story we all agreed to believe. And when that story disappeared, humanity had to rediscover meaning the hard way. Maybe the end of money wouldn't be the end of civilization, but the beginning of a more honest one built not on numbers, but on empathy, collaboration, and trust. So, would a world without money destroy us? Or finally, 7. Os free. Thanks for watching What If? And remember, keep imagining the impossible.